This week's episode of Taste Test Live is brought to you by the great folks at Latin Soul Grill. Who says you can't have the best of both worlds? At Latin Soul Grill, they combine the best Latin cuisine with the comfort of a Southern barbecue meal. Locals in Jacksonville, Florida, are lining up for this unique flavor fusion from a food truck whose owners are just as passionate about their food as they are about their customers' satisfaction. Just search the web for Latin Soul Grill and let them know Damien Lamar sent you. This week's episode of Taste Test Live is also brought to you in part by our audio sponsor, WJCT 89.9 FM. WJCT is the NPR member public radio station in Jacksonville, Florida. The station has been on air since 1972 and airs NPR news and talk during the week and a mix of news, talk, eclectic music on the weekends. Want to help WJCT? Visit their website today at wjct.org to find out how you can be a part of community-supported public broadcasting. If you like Taste Test and you want to keep the music digestion sessions going every week and get some exclusive bonus content, stick around afterwards for details. But first, let's start the show. Have a taste.
You are now in the zone. With Taste Test Live. Hosted by Damien Lamar and Blue Franswa.
Hey, what's jazzin'? Welcome to Taste Test Live.
Yes.
I'm Damien Lamar, the host of the urban mix radio show Taste Test on WJCT 89.9, Northeast Florida's NPR station. Taste Test is a 1-hour music program that airs weekly on Saturdays and Tuesday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern and 8 Pacific. This year, the programming focus for me is redefining urban radio. I'm very glad to be back again for another great week of music industry updates, music news, and laughs. And joining me in Studio 2 is my Taste Test co-hosts, Blue Franswa and MJbaker. Welcome.
Hello.
Yes. Blue, can you take a quick moment and tell our first-time listeners what the Taste Test Live podcast is all about?
On our podcast, we provide our listeners with insightful music digestion sessions, what's happening in the music and entertainment industry each week. Also, on Taste Test Live, we feature artist interviews, awesome backstories, and we might even get an exclusive song from one of our guests.
Yeah, I love that. That's right. Our goal is to keep our podcast subscribers happy by offering new and fresh content. If you have an album or a single coming out and you want to promote your music or your book or your artwork or share a great story about your career in the music industry, drop us a line.
You can do that by heading over to our website at tastetest.live. Head over to our contact page and you just might have a chance to be a guest on the show.
Yep, that's true. It is time to have a taste.
Have a taste.
We're going to talk about the taste of the week.
Yes.
So MJ, Saturday night,
Yes.
11 o'clock.
Yes.
What do we ride out to?
So my ride out was BJ the Kid. BJ the Chicago Kid.
Oh, yeah.
That turning me up.
Yes.
I want to meet this guy.
Right? Sounds like he'd be fun, right?
I know.
Yeah.
And I just like the funk of the song and to me, it was just a great blend of funk. Like it reminded me of some Earth, Wind and Fire with a little bit of, D'Angelo, that's just my opinion. I just loved it.
Yeah, his In My Mind album, which the track Turning Me Up is on, is solid. Solid. It's solid.
Yeah.
Any other highlights that stood out to you?
Listen, so the Drake Don't Matter, mixed with Michael Jackson. Okay, so what got me was the end of the song where it's like Michael Jackson, he lets the Michael Jackson track ride out with some of Michael's, ad-libs and his, movements. And it just reminded me of how great of a singer he was and what he could do. And so that was just one of my favorites. And then, of course, homage to the Indie Ivory.
Yeah. Yeah, I was hoping you would save that
Yes.
later.
Okay.
Let's come back to that.
We're gonna come back.
Let's come back to that.
Okay.
For me, so most people don't know this. I usually try to title my shows. This week's show is called Cherry Pineapple Lucky Charms
Loved it.
because it was quite fruity.
Yes.
I started off with Snitches Brew. And I played that because last week you mentioned that you love Kamal Williams.
Yeah.
So Snitches Brew, right?
That was a great opener.
Yeah.
Like I loved it because when I'm not looking at it like looking at the playlist as I'm listening to it, and when I heard it, I go. Literally, I snatched my head. Nobody can see me, but you guys that quick turn, like.
Yep.
Who is that?
It's Kamal Williams and Mansur Brown on guitar.
Yes.
Yeah. So they're doing great things over there at Black Focus Records over in London. I would love to have an opportunity to meet them. If you're listening to the podcast, please, by all means, reach out. We would love to have you on.
Hey, Kamal.
Two other standouts before we talk about India Ari, which will lead us directly into our next segment, Put This in Your Mouth.
Right.
Before we talk about that, the taste of the week goes to, drum roll, Lucky Day featuring Victoria Monet with Little More Time.
That was one of my songs too.
Yeah. That song did it for me this week.
Yes.
It's funny because I heard that song on Insecure, an episode of Insecure season 3 on HBO, which I'm excited about the return of too, by the way. Yeah. But that I was really glad to play that song.
Yeah.
And then I really wanted to do what David Luckin does at the station when he does Turntable Tuesdays, and he'll play the entire record. That's what he does. He'll pop it. He advertises it well in advance, so you know what he's going to play.
Right.
I wanted to do that with India Ari's new album called Worthy.
Oh, wow.
That album is so good. MJ, please. I mean, come on now.
You know what? Here's the thing. I feel like India Ari is like my musical mother.
Are you sure she's not your spirit animal? Last week you were talking about Diana Ross.
I know she is. It's like, and it's. I have to ingest her music very slowly. Like I listen to it repeatedly. Like, same. And I just think I love her blend of. She gets political, but then she still gives you that color to not make it seem like she's preaching. Right. And it's the beauty of, it's just like an artist, a visual artist that can take metal and turn it into something, a sculpture. It's the same thing, something so rough, so stiff, things that we are just so tight about right now. And she can take it and make it such a beautiful picture. Yeah. And I love the artistry of this album. I love her maturity. She grows with every album. Everyone. She's so relevant with every album. It's like, oh my God, you're speaking to me. Yeah.
It's very spiritual too. Yeah. I feel. Yeah. I mean, my favorite song is Hour of Love. And just like literally setting out time to love on yourself, love on your family, love on your partner, just setting out that hour. Right. And then in the evening, receiving all the wonderful benefits that you've done from literally sowing those seeds of love all day. Right. Beautiful.
Well, and you know what I dig about her is she doesn't rush her processes, because the last album is like maybe 2-3 years old. Yeah. And before that, it was like maybe 3 or 4 years, so she does not just pop them out. She really does kind of take some time. And that's what I love, is she takes some time and really writes her experiences and puts it all together in music. So I'm glad I was able to play her single, which is a new single that she dropped at the same time she dropped the album, but she wanted to drop this as a single. It's called What If. Go back and listen to that song. Yes. It's what if all these greats were not so great? Right. What if, Martin Luther King didn't speak or didn't have a dream? What if, a lot of people, what if they didn't do what they did? Where would we be? Right. Yeah. That was very inspiring for me because, I feel like, not to get too deep in the segment, but, really accepting my purpose, accepting who I am as a person. And so to realize that there are people waiting for me to blossom so that I can share that.
Man, that's good.
Share it with them and to share the message that I have been given, to the world. And so this song made me think, hey, I'm on the right track. Thank you. Thank you, Lord. Thank you, Creator. I'm on the right track. What if I say no? Who would have to wait another generation?
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
I love your revelations. They're good. The epiphanies are like pheromonious.
It's beautiful.
So you know what else I'm excited about today? Because we not only have one guest, but we actually have two guests. Our first guest is Latina Motivational Coach and Entrepreneur, Carliana Harris. Welcome.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. I'm glad you're here. We got a lot to talk about, but first I want to take an opportunity to read your bio to our guest.
Awesome.
Carliana was born in Puerto Rico and spent most of her time in a small town of Jessup. She now resides in Jacksonville and is the sideline reporter for the Jacksonville Spanish broadcast. She's a reporter for a show called Se Habla Español in Jax and the owner of an online boutique called Azúcar, which stands for sugar. Carliana is one of the founders of the Fairy Godmother Project, an initiative to help low-income high school girls obtain a prom dress. She enjoys quality time with her family and friends, do-it-yourself projects, traveling, drinking wine like all of us, eating chocolate, and she also enjoys stories, jokes, journeys, adventures, and antics from the people she meets. Welcome again to Taste Test Live.
I'm so excited. I feel like this is long overdue. I met you a long time ago.
Yes, it was a long time ago. It was. And it's funny, like when we first met, we met at a mutual friend's house, and I have to say it was 2 years in a row.
Yes.
You and your husband were sitting in the same exact spot in this crazy house party.
Yes.
And we seemed to like fall into this vortex of like amazing conversation.
That's right. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about what's going on in your world.
Well, my world is definitely crazy, but it's a good crazy, I would say. I am busy with my kids. I do have 2 kids, along with all the things that you said about me in the bio. I am a mom first and a wife, and that keeps me busy in itself. Yeah. Aside from that, I love to help my community, specifically my Hispanic community, because we are a growing community here in Jacksonville. Yes. And I love to help out the community. So I am doing, like you said, the Fairy Godmother Project, which that takes a lot of my time. Like you said, we help out low-income girls obtain a prom dress. As many people know, prom dresses are extremely expensive. Yeah. I know this from experience. I went to 2 proms, and it was hard for my mom to, buy a prom dress. So my prom dress came from a thrift store, cost $10, beautiful dress. She made it beautiful. That's right. And, we made it work. And I went to prom thanks to that, because, we found something that was affordable, and I wanted to give back to the community in that aspect. I do this project along with one of my good friends, Yanitza, it's her name. And we came together and we're like, let's help out the community in this way, because she's a teacher, and she saw how girls in her school would go crazy, like, oh, I'm not going to be able to go to prom. I don't have a dress. My mom can't afford it. So we got together and started that initiative. So that's coming up now, March 17th. We're going to have our big events where we're going to give out the prom dresses, and we also give out makeup and limousine rides and photographs and all that good stuff. So they get the whole package. Okay. So I'm busy with that right now.
I can tell. I mean, that's literally less than a month away.
It is
from this broadcast.
Yes. So we're working hard on that. And
how long has Fairy Godmother Project been around?
So this is going to be our 2nd year.
Okay.
Our 2nd year. Last year, it was huge. We actually had a small hotel room that we had rented to have it at. And I mean, it was packed. Like literally, we were on the news. We were on news, Action News. They did a report on us, and everybody. I still get calls from last year's interview that we had on the news. They're like, "Oh, do you need dresses? Wow. Do you need somebody to do makeup?"
That's really awesome.
So we've been blessed with that. People, the community has definitely stepped up and showed us love.
I was going to ask you if there was a success story, but that's a success story by itself.
Success story. It's great. I love that.
So there was
the community
obviously a need that you felt that because of your own experience that you
Correct.
needed to address.
Exactly.
And you do that now.
Exactly.
Do you, I obviously, like, I think most people have quinceañeras.
Quinceañeras,
Around the same time, have you ever done a quinceañera prom party?
That's funny that you say that because we are about to partner up with another company that wants to do quinceañera. So now we're going to be picking maybe 2-3 girls that are wanting to have a quinceañera, can afford it, because those two, especially in our culture, they're very expensive.
Yes.
So we are going to partner with them, and we are going to start that. So that's funny.
That is awesome. I guess I must have picked it up somehow.
You got it.
I thought, having a prom dress, when you think prom, you think the specialness of,
That's right.
There's that special rite of passage.
Exactly.
And just like a quinceañera in the Hispanic community.
Same thing. Yep.
So
we're on the
that's
works of
pretty
that.
cool. So tell me a little bit about azúcar.
So
your business.
azúcar, sugar. So it started just out of the love of me doing crafts. I love to just do things. And one day I wanted a specific shirt, and that said Latina. And I went online and I was looking everywhere and I couldn't find the shirt, not the way that I wanted it.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to do this myself. And I did it the way that I wanted. Wore it to many different things, and people started asking like, oh, where'd you get your shirt? What is this? Oh, I want one. It's like, I made them. Can you make me one? That's how it started. So I was like, you know what? I got an idea. I'm going to start selling these shirts. So it started from there. And then because I love Latina women, I wanted to do inspirational messages to motivate them, and in our language, because we always see shirts, grocery store, somebody with a shirt, regular shirt that says something, mom, wife, boss, something like that in English, but you don't see it in my language. And something as simple as a shirt with a message like that, it inspires people, believe it or not. I know that I was inspired once by a shirt that someone wore, and I was like it reminded me of my childhood, and I was like, I smiled, and I was like, oh wow. It took me back to that memory. So if it did that to me, I wanted to do that to other people as well. So that's where all that started.
Beautiful.
Thank
Beautiful.
you.
I like how you, it's almost like you take an open door.
Yes.
Or an area of improvement, and you find ways to refine that. That's it. Very admirable.
Yeah. Thank you. And I also I feel like, parts of my life as well, because of all the things that I've been through. For example, the prom thing, it was because of something that I went through. The azúcar, it was because I wanted, like little things like that. I want to share with the community. So yeah.
That's beautiful.
Thank you.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. So what outside of this event coming up in March, what's next for you?
Well, I started another project with another friend of mine, another Latina Kateria, and we are doing empowering events for Latinas, as far as like chats. And now we're doing an empowering dinner where we're going to get all the Latinas together that own their own businesses so that they can get to know one another and to network, because we are growing and there's a lot of us out there and they don't even know that they're there. I actually had an expo. I did a Latina Women's Expo last month, and some of them got to mingle and get to know each other, and we got great results from that.
Wow.
Really great results. So,
do you do anything with the Latina moms? There's a meetup.
There is a group on Facebook, a Latina Moms group. So I didn't want to step on their toes. So they got that aspect of it. But I do, in my plans, I do want to do something with the moms, maybe a chat or some kind of conference. But I just don't want to step on their toes, because I know
I
they
can
have
help
their
you
own.
with that. I know someone that's actively part of that group, and they're always looking to collaborate with other
Perfect.
people.
That would be great.
I'd be
Then
more
we
than
can make
happy
that
to
happen.
Make
for
an
sure.
introduction for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Look at you.
Yeah,
Making connections.
Yeah. I have to do that.
I love it. That's what we're here for.
See? Exactly.
Yeah.
You get it.
Yep.
That's why you're here. That's why you're
right.
sitting in that
Hey,
seat. So
high five.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, we're giving high fives back here.
Yeah.
So I'm very, very excited about something. I admire your tenacity. I know that you're from Jessup.
Yes.
And most people don't know Jessup. Jessup is a very small country,
Hick town
in Georgia.
Yes.
I can hear a little bit of the twang coming through
it
in
comes
your
out.
But I also hear the Latino accent, which is very odd. I've never heard that
It's
before.
crazy. It's crazy because when I moved to Jessup, it was straight from Puerto Rico. I was 8 years old. I didn't know any English. So the English that I learned was the Southern English. So I had that little twang for like ever. It wasn't until I moved away that I kind of pick something else up, but it comes out still. I'm a southern girl at heart.
Yeah, Southern chica.
That's right.
That's all right. So you came from Jessup. How long have you been living in Jacksonville?
So in Jacksonville, I've been here for about 6 years.
Okay. And how has that been? What's that experience been like for you?
It's been great. You know, my husband, he was military, and so we've lived in different states, different places, and Jacksonville has been the place that just feels like home to me. Like the people just are so warm and they just welcome me with open arms. I never knew that what I'm doing now is what I was going to be doing. But it was like, I don't know, it's like the path just was set.
Yeah.
And it brought me here and I love it. I don't want to move.
You don't have to. You don't have to.
I don't want to.
We want you to stay here. We like people like you here.
Yes.
Yeah.
And like you.
Oh, yeah. Well, thank you. We're part of the Mutual Admiration Society.
That's
so
right.
There you go. Well, so since you've been here, I know you've done some work with the part of your bio is that you were actually a reporter with the Jacksonville Spanish broadcast.
Yes.
Tell me about that. I
mean, that's exciting. That's one of the funnest jobs that I have, I think, of all the many that I have. So I'm working with the Jaguars. I'm their sideline reporter. This is the first year that they've done anything like this, that they've teamed up with a company called Tico Sports, and they transmit the games via radio in Spanish. So it's fun. I get to be on the field. And, you know, I used to not, I mean, I like football, but I was a cheerleader back in the day. And, you know, I kind of learned the ropes of football back then. But now I'm really, really getting it. And I have to. So I'm really getting it. And the more I learn, it's like I get more excited about it. So now, like, I'm mad at them if they, you know, they're losing. And I'm over here, like, throwing things. Like, no.
But in Spanish.
But in Spanish. No, así no. So, and I love it. I work with an amazing team. I'm the only girl there, and they all love me like I'm their sister, and they teach me things, and I am so honored to work with them. And then I also work for another social media, I don't know if you will call it broadcast, because we're on social media, but it's called Se Habla Español in Jacksonville, which translates to we speak Spanish here in Jacksonville. And I just report on things that are going on in the community, in the Hispanic community, also in the American community. I do a lot of the translating. So I'll interview someone in English and then we'll put the subtitles down in Spanish because, I mean, we're growing and the Hispanic people here, they just don't know that there's so much here in Jacksonville. Like the lack of information is crazy. And I just love that I can give them that information. I love it. That's what one of my purposes here in Jacksonville is to give that information, to let them know, hey, listen, you're not alone. You don't have to go through this alone. There's people, there's organizations, there's whatever out here in Jacksonville that can help you out.
That is awesome. That is so awesome. Wow. So when do you sleep?
I know, right? I barely do because you know why? My mind runs like 1,000 miles per minute and like I'm in bed and I'm like thinking of all these ideas and I'll get up and I'll write them, get on my phone and just write ideas. It's 4 a.m. Texting my friends like, hey girl, let's do this next month, okay? And they're awake too because they're just like
thinking
me. and then that's how it goes. So
that's awesome.
Busy.
Yeah, that busy's good. It keeps you out of trouble.
That's right.
Keeps you out of trouble.
That's right.
So talk about your kids.
Sure. So I have Josiah, my oldest. He's almost 10 years old, and he reminds me of that all the time because he thinks he's going to be an adult at 10. And my daughter, her name's Captain, and she is 2, and she acts just like her name. Like she is the captain.
She's the captain. So she's the boss.
She really is. She bosses me, her daddy, and her brother, and everybody else who's around. So yeah, they're busybodies, keep me so busy. And I love them so much.
I can tell. I don't know. I'm still baffled. I mean, and I don't even have any kids, but I'm baffled when I see people with the many hats that you wear.
That's right.
And married.
Yeah.
And children. how do you balance that all? Like, what do you do? Like, is there something in the coquito that you're drinking for the holidays? I mean,
Oh man, coquito, you just took me back. I want some now. I'm gonna have to make some. You know what? You just have to have a good foundation. It all starts with a good foundation. Having an understanding with your partner, with your husband. You know, this is what I do. This is what I love. You know, either you're gonna support that, or we're gonna have to work on something. And he's always been super supportive because he's just like me. Honestly, he loves to help out, and he's always in the community. So it all starts with that foundation, and then, you know, just your passion and understanding for what it is that you really are getting into. If you understand that, then you can balance. Some people say, no, there's no way that you can do everything. You're going to be bad at something. Out of those 10 things, you're going to be bad at 5. I mean,
time management.
I don't think so. You have to have good time management and be in tune with yourself and with your family. Your family's first. That's out of the question. You know, I will be with my family instead of whatever else I have going on. But I think that good teamwork, if you're in a relationship, good teamwork, good parenting, and just love and time management, and you could do it all in God, you know.
You make it so easy. You make it look so easy.
Well, you know, there's some times where you do get overwhelmed. You know, there's times where I'm like, oh my God, what am I doing? Like, I took something else on. Like, when am I going to, like you say, when am I going to sleep? Even though I don't sleep. But yeah, so, but you know what? I think that my passion, it just shows. And when you're humble and you love what you do, people gravitate towards you and they want to help you because, I don't do it all myself. I have other people too that help me. So if I know that, hey, today I can't do this, you know.
But recognizing that you need the help.
Exactly. Absolutely. Can't do it all by yourself.
Yeah.
You go nuts.
Yeah, well.
Crazy house.
This is true. I know that full well. I know that full well.
You know.
I'm going to share this one last quote. This is a beautiful quote by you.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it has encapsulated the last 15 minutes in such a perfect way. You said, I want to empower and inspire Latina women. I want them to understand that we are all filled with unlimited possibility, regardless of age and social class. If your heart desires it, go for it. Nothing can stop you but you.
That's right.
Those are powerful words.
Yes.
And coming from a very powerful figure, I admire what you're doing in the Hispanic community. I want you to continue. Let me know how I can help.
Sure.
And I hope that all of the listeners, that anybody that's listening, take out a quick moment, and if you will, take a moment and tell everyone where they can find you online. And
sure. So you guys can just follow me on Facebook or Instagram. It's just my name, Carliana Harris. And once you go to that page, you'll see all of my businesses. I have links to my business and to my where I do my reporting. So if you're interested in that, so Carliana Harris, and I'll spell my name because I know it's hard. Carliana Harris. And, you know, it's not, I do help out Latina women, but I want everybody to be involved because I want the American, you know, viewers and listeners to also get to know us, you know, get to know us and see what we're all about. So just because I say Latina women doesn't mean like, she ain't working with nobody else. No. We want you, we want you to come and see what we're all about and what we have to offer because it's definitely a lot.
Yes. Wonderful. Wonderful. It's been a pleasure. Thank you so much for stopping by Taste Test Live. This has been great.
I know. Thank you so much for allowing me to come.
Oh, my pleasure. We're going to take a short break and we'll be back with a new guest, Darren Ronan. Stay tuned. All right, that was a great interview with Carliana Harris. Welcome back to Taste Test Live. I'm Damien Lamar. And in the studio with us here is Darren Ronan. Welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you here. I've been waiting. I think we made this appointment a long time ago.
Just a bit.
A wee bit. And you've been anxiously waiting to come on the show.
I have, actually.
As we've been anxiously waiting to have you.
Absolutely.
So really happy to have you. I'm going to take a quick moment and read your bio for those individuals out in podcast land who don't know who you are. Darren Ronan is a professional musician who's been teaching at Grace Episcopal Day School since 2008. He graduated from University of North Florida with a Bachelor's of Arts in Music in 2002, served as band director at St. John's Country Day School, and founded Ronan School of Music in 2010. While at UNF, he was fortunate enough to study percussion with Charlotte Mabry and drum set with Rich Kirkland, and has also toured the southern and eastern United States playing a variety of musical sets and opening shows and sharing stages with the likes of Booker T, Diane Shure, Linda Pearl, Evan Bishop, Dwight Yoakam, and so many more. And he currently performs as a solo acoustic act and also with his rockabilly band called the 77Ds. There's an original music album that was released in 2009 called The Good Things. Can you tell us about that, Darren?
Oh, sure. That was what a great experience. Put that out in 2009. It's a bunch of original music, sort of evolved over, I don't know, probably 18 months. It's always fun because I'm very fortunate to have a really good list of good musicians who are close friends. And so I thought I knew what I was going to record. I had the songs. And then we got in there and we started playing, and everything sort of just evolved in a direction. So that album, the listener who doesn't know anything, of course, is going to have their experience listening to it. Hopefully good. Who knows? But every time I hear it, I hear the evolution of what happened and the moments and the time in the studio with the friends. So hopefully people that don't know me or, don't have any of that background like the album. But for me, when I listen to it, I just feel the energy and the positive time I had with the friends that we got to make it. So
Good Things.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah,
Good things.
So you started out in Jacksonville. Did you grow up here?
Been here since I was, I think 4 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. And was music part of your household?
Absolutely. Yeah. My father was a country and western singer in the 50s. He used to ride in and do grocery store openings and store openings on his horse called Lucky Charm. He'd come in standing up with his pistol, shooting it off. And then he would jump off the horse and sing a few songs. He was in Ocala, Florida, and there was a radio station there, WHOO, and they had a house band called the Hoot Owls. There was a Sunday night radio show, and he was Lee Ronan, and the house band was the Hoot Owls, so it was Lee Ronan and the Hoot Owls. He'd get on there and sing a few songs. So he was a little bit of a local celebrity down there in Ocala.
So the apple doesn't fall far from the tree then?
Not at all.
Yeah. All right. So did you play more than one instrument growing up?
I got my first instrument when I was I guess about 10 years old. I got a hand-me-down guitar from my older brother. And then when I was 14, my mother bought me my first drum set. And I always like to talk about the vintage word. Vintage is a new word. When I got the drum set, it was just old junky drums that no one wanted. And it was an old drum set from 1965, a Ludwig, the same finish as Ringo Starr. So I was pretty excited about that because I'm a big Beatles fan. And it turned out it was from the second series of that finish. So that drum set today, just the snare drum is worth, it's hard to say, $1,400, $1,600. Wow. She paid $100 for the whole drum set, including cymbals.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's fun. And I still have it.
Still have it to this day, yeah. Do you have a favorite instrument? I know you're a multi-instrumentalist. I mean, is there something specifically that you like to play?
Not really. I sort of just, I feel very fortunate that I get to play music at all. That's really, whatever I'm doing, that's where I'm happiest. There's really nothing I'd rather be doing. My whole entire life is playing music and teaching music. And I get to do it all right here in Jacksonville. I get to stay with my wife and don't have to go away and leave her. I don't have to leave my students. So I feel very fortunate that I get to do all that right here. So is there one instrument that I love playing? I don't think so. I think I get a kick out of it all. So
are you better at one more than the other?
Probably drum set is, yeah, absolutely.
So you're a true percussionist.
I think so.
Are you the guy that keeps the whole band in the pocket?
No, if I have to keep you in the pocket, I don't need to play with
you. Yeah.
That's just a joke. That's a joke.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Wow.
So, I've read in your bio that you actually started your own school of music in 2010. Can you tell me about Ronan School of Music? Absolutely.
It's probably the best thing I've ever done in my life. We're right outside the shops of Avondale. We started it sort of on a lark almost. I'd been in Orange Park working at Nice Music for about 20 years, and I wanted to be in the Riverside area. And my wife had a photo studio, and she was thinking about letting it go. And the rent was cheap, so I said, well, let's start a music school. And I took pretty much everything I had in the bank and just bootstrapped the whole entire thing. We built 6 studios. We got some teachers, friends. I was very fortunate to have good friends who were willing to do it. And it's just sort of taken off from there. We've been able to buy the building that we're in. We now have a space in the back that's a good rehearsal space where we've had to be able to hold lots of community shows. Robert Arley White just did a cool show back there. We've had lots of touring acts. We had the bass player from Guns N' Roses did an acoustic show back there.
Whoa, nice. Wow.
So it's just sort of grown and taken off, and the community has supported us in so many ways. I can't even say thank you enough, different ways, and often enough. Yeah.
So that did it nice your tenure at Nice Music, did it have anything to do with you starting a music school?
It had everything to do with it.
Everything.
Absolutely, yeah.
Everything.
Yeah, Nice Music had been around for 60 years, I think it was. Closed in January of either 15 or 16, I can't remember. But all of the experiences and all of the things I learned helping to manage and run that place, go into play every single day. All the things good and bad, because not everything that happened at Nice Music was the right way to do things.
Sure.
So lots and lots of lessons have gone into helping me kind of keep that Ronan School of Music alive. Absolutely.
Do you recall any favorite jam sessions during your time there at Nice?
I don't know that I'd call it a jam session, but the legendary guitar player Hank Garland, who played with Elvis and the Everly Brothers and Roy Orbison and Patsy Cline and so many others, he lived in Orange Park, eventually passed away in Orange Park. He came in one time, and a few of us got to sort of sit around and listen to him play and kind of tap on the counter and play a few little licks with him. So that was a very special time.
Yeah, that's huge. You got to play with actual legend. I mean, did you learn anything from him? Did you pick up any of his style?
Well, unfortunately, he was, he'd been incapacitated and wasn't at his full strength. So, but every so often you'd hear those licks come through, and you'd go, "Oh,
that's a signature lick." Yeah,
that's Hank right there.
Yeah.
So, but it was just incredibly fortunate just to get to be around him. Yeah.
From your other, you shared the stage with the likes of the Fly Right Boys, Sandy, a Big Sandy, Junior Brown, Elvis Bishop, Diane Shure. Like any of those performers stand out? Like some of the performances, you have any cool stories you want to share with us?
I don't know about cool stories. Randy Weston he just passed away. He's a great jazz pianist. We got to play at the Ritz Theater downtown. We got to open for him, and he had a bass player, and I feel bad because I can't remember the man's name. Maybe the best bass player I've ever seen in my life.
Wow.
The man played an upright bass like it was a ukulele. I mean, he just had full command and full control of it. He might be the most powerful musician I've ever gotten to stand next to. And shamefully, I can't remember his name. But I will tell you that one definitely stands out. Syl Johnson is on that list. Syl Johnson, are you familiar with him at all?
I'm not. No.
He's an R&B legend. Came through the 60s.
I should be, huh?
You should, yeah. He came through the 60s. He's still alive. He's in his 80s. He lives in Chicago. For a long time, he had a standing Tuesday night gig at a bar in Chicago. He came to the Ritz Theater, and he doesn't travel with a band. Wherever he goes, he gets a band. And so I'm friends with the promoter, and so he asked me to put together a band, and we put together, I think it was a 9-piece band with horns and backup singers, and we got to learn all his songs and play with him. And fortunately, he's in his 80s, so he's not at the full strength of his powers, but that was still a very, very cool experience, getting to play the songs with the man who wrote them and made them famous.
Yeah.
Listening to your music, what genre of music do you identify with?
I get asked that a lot. I just sort of use the broad stamp of Americana, because some of the stuff that I write has a country bent, of course. Some of it has a folk bent, and some of the other stuff I wrote is just straight up rock and roll.
Do people compare you to like other artists that've been out for a while? Because I heard a little Johnny Cash.
Yeah, I definitely get the Johnny Cash thing, and you know what? And I appreciate that. I'll take it. Johnny's one of my favorites. One of the tracks that I sent you guys, I had been listening to some Lyle Lovett all day in the house, and I had just done that mix, and I wanted my wife to hear it sort of without bias. And so I'd been listening to Lyle Lovett all day in the house, and so I just threw that into the mix, the playlist. And I said, "Hey, tell me what you think of this song." And she listened to it. The song came on, and she goes, "It sounds like Lyle Lovett." And then eventually my singing kicked in, and I went, "Boom! There you go."
Wow.
And so I'll take that. If she can't really hear or feel that difference,
So you can kind of channel these guys.
Well, I try to a little bit.
Yeah.
I would never compare myself to any of these people, but these are the people I would call influences, I suppose. I respect their songwriting, and of course they all have the best musicians in the world with them. So, that's what I'm shooting for anyway.
Do you do any songwriting at all?
Yeah, these songs that I sent you, these are all original songs.
They're original, that you've written.
I wrote them all, yes.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, I wrote the songs, I wrote the lyrics, I wrote the melodies, the chord progressions, but when you listen to the recordings, the parts that are played, I might have suggested what to do to the people who are playing with me, but they write their parts. I don't,
Gotcha.
I don't try to dictate that. Yeah.
So what song do you want us to play first? We can check out.
There's one called I Want to Sing With You.
Okay.
I really enjoy that one. It's kind of my wife told me one time, she said, can't you ever write a happy song? And, because a lot of my songs tend to be a little darker.
That's why I said Johnny Cash.
Yeah. So I said, alrighty, I'll try to do that. So now I try to pay attention to that. Try to keep a balance. You get a dark one, you get a happy one. You know?
Right.
So
Yeah.
So we'll check out a little snippet of I Want to Sing With You right here on Taste Test Live.
The singer sang us a song. He wrote about the love of his life. Told us how he'd sing to her, and oh, she'd be his wife. Made me think about us and what I want you to do. I don't want you to sit and listen. I want to sing with you. I want to sing with you every night.
All right, so we heard I Want to Sing With You right here on Taste Test Live. Thanks, Darren. What was the inspiration behind that song?
you want the true story or you want the professional story?
Oh, you pick.
Well,
think.
you know,
give me the true story.
Well, in songwriting, you don't always want to make things obvious and give everything to the listener, right? So it sounds like a happy song, and it's a pretty obvious thing. I want to sing with you. I mean, what could you do that would be sweeter with your partner than, sing together, right?
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. But I was actually trying to write a song about sex. And sing is just really a euphemism for,
Yeah, let's go there.
That's really what it's about.
Yeah.
And that's if you listen to the chorus, it says, what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I want to sing with you. So
I love it. I like it.
That's
You kept it really PG-13.
I did.
That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay. I mean, did you get your wish?
Well, I don't kiss and tell.
Good answer. I had to ask. Sometimes I like to push the envelope a little bit.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. All right. So you also brought another song. I'd like to play a little snippet of that as well. Can you set that one up for us?
Sure. This is I'm very, very proud of this song. This song's gotten great response everywhere I've played it. This song talks about sort of how it's an environment song. I grew up in Jacksonville and Riverside, Avondale area is the area that I treasure and I call home. And it's really about that area. So many historic homes. So when you ride around, the appearance in the neighborhoods hasn't changed a lot. There are 100 plus year old homes in the neighborhood. But what goes on inside those homes is far different than what went on 100 years ago. And that's kind of what the song is about. It's called Here It Feels the Same. But it's really about how things have changed and things aren't really the same, but even though they might look and feel that way.
Okay, let's check it out.
There's a part of town where the houses are old and the trees hang down and cover the road. All down the street, they know your name. Everything changes, here it feels the same.
That's great. I love that song.
Thank you.
Especially because of the meaning behind it. I mean, when you set it up and it almost is very picturesque for me. When you hear it, you automatically think of riding down the road, looking at the houses and looking at the neighborhood. You go, yeah, I appreciate that. I love Americana songs or country songs because they tell great stories. I think country artists have a way of actually capturing that 3 minutes, 4 minutes, or however long the song it is, and taking you on a journey. visual journey through music, and it's so captivating that you've done that in that song. So,
man, I appreciate that. That's great, and that's a great compliment. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. You're welcome. So, what's next for you with the band, with the album? What's coming up?
Well, that album is in progress. So 2009. Where are we? 2019.
Yeah.
I'm going to put one album out every 10 years. You know, I don't like to work too fast.
You're like Sade.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm in the process of. We've got about a half a dozen songs recorded. All sort of in that Americana vein, but some, like I said, some a little more rock and roll. Going to try to get that album out before this year is up. Got a pretty good head start on that. The 77Ds, which is a rockabilly band, which is a separate project from the stuff we've just heard. We've got a fun gig coming up. We're looking forward to it. It's a long way away, but it's October. The Florida Theater does that Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yeah.
And so we're going to be the band opening for the Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Yeah.
We were actually the band the very first year they did that. And it's a rockabilly band, so all the feels are sort of swinging, dance type music. And it was one of the best experiences ever. We were playing, and we looked up at one point about 15 minutes into the set. And, you know, the Rocky Horror thing is fun. Everyone dresses up in their lingerie and their fishnets. We looked up at about 15, 20 minutes into the set, and people were rushing the stage, and people were swing dancing on the stage for the entirety of our set. It was just
nice.
What a blast. It was such a cool experience.
That's when the venue has done the right thing of pairing the right music and the right band with the activity that's going to happen thereafter.
Yeah, it was just such a great experience. So we're looking forward to playing that again in October. It's been several years since we did that. You know, we're actually looking to. I have a handful of original songs I've written for that group, so we're looking to try to put some music out with that group, shoot some videos and stuff. So we got some things in the work for that too.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So take a last few minutes, and if you would tell all of our listeners how they can find you online and how they can plug you in any hashtags you got that you created.
Sure, I kind of keep it all in one place. If you're looking for Darren Ronan in music, it's you just go to Facebook and you type in Darren Ronan Music. Kind of keeping it simple. We also have the music school. It's called Ronan School of Music. Always looking for new students there. If you've got children and they're looking for music experience, performing experience, lesson experience, we'd like to help you with that. So keeping it easy.
Keep it easy. I like it. Any final words for us?
I just want to thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
My goodness, this has been great. I love a good storyteller.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
Trying to be one. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks to Darren Ronan for coming to Taste Test Live and joining Blue and I in the studio. And we hope to have you back very, very soon.
Man, I look forward to it. Thank you.
All right. Welcome back to Taste Test Live. I'm Damien Lamar, your host, and we have
Blue Franswa
and our lovely
MJbaker.
Blue.
Yes.
It's time.
I know.
For Put This in Your Mouth.
Finally.
All right. There's been a lot going on. You care to give us the rundown?
Where you want to start at? Because it's so much.
Start at the beginning.
Do we want to go negative or positive? Wait, I don't think. Do we have anything positive?
Yeah, we got something positive. I have something I want to put in there. Even if you have something negative, I want to interject some positivity in the mix.
Okay,
even because
I'll start off positive.
Yeah.
Drake is working on a new album.
Yeah. Speaking of Drake, we played last one.
Yeah, Drake. Yeah, he's working on a new project. He didn't on his social media. He didn't specify any details or definites, but he featured some stuff and give a lot of sneak peeks. And what I like about Drake is he's not at that Beyonce level, but he has the ability to drop at any time without promo.
Right.
Yeah.
What do you think about that double album he put out? 25 songs on the last one.
You know what?
Scorpion.
It grew on me because I was not a big Drake fan as far as the singing, but they played it. They played his whole album so much everywhere you go, and he had that beef at that time. Like, it kind of just grew on me. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like the way that they did the Mariah Carey because to me, I think she lost her voice. But the way that they featured, it was like, it wasn't a new song.
They sampled it.
Yeah, they sampled
From Visions of Love.
Yeah, and I was just like, wow. Like, they said her vocals were remixed. So yeah, and that Michael Jackson one that you played, I like the way they did that because it sounded
very
sound like
it sounded like
they just said MJ, come like not MJbaker, but like Michael Jackson, come to the studio.
Yeah.
I got this track I want you to hear, and he shows up.
Yeah, and then quote me if I'm wrong, anybody out there that's listening, but I think that was one of the songs that was supposed to go on his last album, which was that he started working on maybe 15, 20 years ago.
I thought I read that somewhere too.
Yeah, like I was just like, man, that was 20. That's like a decade ago. Like, wow.
Yeah.
So
Now, but I have a question though. Do you feel that because that Drake, the last album, Scorpio had 25 tracks on it, and now he's working on new music, is he giving people an opportunity to really appreciate the last, you know what I'm saying? To really absorb, because to me, if you keep, you keep pulling stuff out, sometimes I have to listen to an album 3 or 4 times and I find something new that
Every time
I like about it, or whatever the case may be. And so is he giving people enough time to marinate in what he's already done?
you know what? I'm gonna say this. Lyrically, I don't think he's and I hate to say this, I don't think he's like that dynamic artist. I don't think he's trendy. He's like instant. He's right there. So I think that he do so much of trendy music. Like, it doesn't have a lot of substance. Because if you listen to a lot of lyrics, it's more like, I got money, y'all not on my level. So I think that with the music that he has, it's just straight trendy. I think he has to inject us so much of himself, of who he is, because it's like, if you was to listen to one song, you would be like, oh, okay. But I think he has to put out so much to kind of add to who he is as a person. You know what I'm saying? Because I could listen to Lauryn Hill, any of her projects over and over again, but I can't listen to Drake over and over again. Yeah. So I guess he has to do that.
And we don't know when he's going to put an album out. We know that he's working on new music, so it could be a while.
Yeah, he's in a deal, so he has to put out projects. I think he's just trying to, he's not dynamic enough to put out 7 songs and then we just blown away. I'm sorry. Did I say that?
You spoke your mind, That's a valid opinion.
That's hilarious.
We did tell our listeners that this was going to be a opinion-filled podcast. I mean, they know. So
if he did 7, Damien, be honest. I'm not a big Drake fan. I like his music. Like, I could drive to it, listen to it. I'm not buying it, but I haven't. Do you think if he did just 7 songs, he would be where he's at now? Just 7 songs?
No.
He said that so eloquently. It's like
he said.
No.
We should do album reviews on new artists.
I mean, that's a thought.
And speak candidly.
That's a thought. I'll touch on that a little bit later. Yeah. But point 2, one other thing too, on a positive side, did you know that Ariana Grande is in the charts?
Yeah, she has the
top 3 songs in the country, tying the Beatles record.
No.
Yes.
Get out of here.
Yes. And according to the Billboard Hot 100, Ariana is tied to the Beatles from their 1964 accomplishment, and there has not been another artist been able to do that since.
Ariana Grande?
1964. Yes.
I need to listen to her some more.
But her new, you know what? Her new music is really speaking to women. Okay. It is very. It's like, I was dumb. I have to learn how to love myself. It's kind of like it's like Usher's Confession album.
Yeah. Okay.
Meaning it's kind of expressing her process. I think she just went to writers and said, this is where I'm at. This is.
Thank you. Next.
This is where I've been. And they just started writing, and I think it's more of showing
Thank you.
The
Next.
insecurity. Yeah. Right. The insecurity of, and just some of the other singles that she's put out.
I can see that. God is a Woman.
Right.
I love the visuals on that. I need to get into it.
Her vocals are, it really is. I mean, she's been able to capture that. Like one of the few artists that made able to capture that movement through their album, through song.
Right. And the young ladies that she speaks to the millennial generation. And, and they're thinking the same thing, like, okay. Because I even wanted, when I heard Next, I was like, well, shoot, I'm gonna share this on my page because she's speaking some truth.
Yeah.
And I'm not an Ariana Grande fan, you know.
I got a chance to play her on the show week before last when I played the song NASA.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
It's really upbeat, you know.
Yeah.
Turned some heads when I was playing, and I was with a couple of friends, and they were like, "What's that?"
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, go ahead, man. I mean, what else we got going on?
James Safechuck and Wade Robson claimed that Michael Jackson sexually abused them as children in the upcoming documentary Leaving Neverland. The trailer for the upcoming documentary Leaving Neverland. Hold on, let me start over here. James Safechuck and Wade Robson claimed that Jackson sexually abused them as children in the upcoming documentary Leaving Neverland, which is coming out to HBO in a 2-part film March 3rd.
Interesting. So they are two guys. Okay. All right. So what are we going to do about it now? Michael's gone.
These are guys.
I understand. Michael's gone.
Well, you know, they were paid to provide information to create this documentary.
Okay. So Michael's gone.
They got paid a lot of money.
That's what it comes down to then, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you know, if the accusations are true, and if they were molested by MJ, Michael Jackson.
Oh, they have pictures of when they was young with Michael Jackson. Now, if it's true or not, but I'm saying like they have proof that they were in the care and now here's another thing though. What's funny is their parents left them at Neverland and probably left them for days.
But see, okay, so
is that child abuse and neglect, and now which turns into sexual abuse?
They're like, oh, it's Michael Jackson. Hey, they're in good hands.
No, what it is, I mean, okay, so I was watching something yesterday, and Michael Eric Dyson was speaking about this, and one thing he said was, okay, it's just like, you know, the R. Kelly situation, where when a person of power, they're, famous and all of that. I mean, come on, y'all. I mean, my mama wouldn't let me go to my best friend's house. Like, Mary was like, you're coming home Saturday, and I need you to call me.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, with my mom, I was going to my friend Walter's house all the time. But guess what? My mom and his mom, they talked.
Right.
This is what my child needs.
Right.
keep an eye on my child. This is what I expect. And there's expectations, and I knew I couldn't get away with some foolishness over at Walter's house.
Right.
And Walter's couldn't get it foolishness at my house with my mom.
Yeah, and I mean, my whole thing is, I wonder, were they going, even if this did occur, okay, first of all, that's a terrible thing. But at the same time, they were children. And whose responsibility? I mean, you're a father.
Yeah.
I mean, would you, no. If let's say your kid was Drake's, biggest fan, and Drake said, I want to take your son under my wing, you would say, okay, I'm coming with y'all. We gonna fly together.
Yeah.
What is it? But at this point in our culture and in American society, why is it that we're so asphyxiated on exposing people and reliving the traumas of the past and doing it for money and doing these exposés and these long series of like when I was watching the whole Surviving R. Kelly thing that was on Lifetime, I got through like 3 episodes and I'm like, you know what?
Yeah, I didn't watch the whole thing.
I don't have to see any more of this because how long are y'all gonna beat the drum? We know that people have problems, but when, I guess, how can I say this? When are we going to wise up and address the issues while they're happening? Especially those of us who know stuff's happening.
Right. Well, I think, and I want to do more research into this Michael Jackson documentary, but the purpose of the R. Kelly was overall, yes, to expose him, but also to say, I feel like the overall message was like what you're saying. This is what happens when you don't deal with it.
Correct.
I feel like their message was, we as, people of color, need to stop putting people in high positions, above the law or even above abuse, because we do kind of make them idols. And
but I think there's another side of the coin too, and not to interrupt you, but I think the other side of the coin is that you have people that are celebrities, such as the Michael Jacksons, the R. Kellys, and whomever else has a lot of clout and a lot of money, and that likes underage humans.
Right.
Okay, why is it that we, the parents, and I'm not a parent, but I'm talking about the parents, and I'm speaking on for the parents. Why is it that we feel like it's okay to allow, to subject our children who need the guidance, who need the care, who need the direction? Why do we feel like, oh, well, this person's got money, they have tons of assistance, they're going to be okay. Let me just let them go without checking on them, without worrying, because you're getting a check or money. So, I think there's a deeper message to all of this.
Yeah, definitely.
And that's not the podcast. That's not what this podcast is
Right.
about. So we're moving on.
We're moving on.
We're going to talk about what? Oh my God! Please don't tell me.
What? Now let's go to SoundCloud. I'm
Okay.
happy about SoundCloud.
So let me tell. I'm on SoundCloud.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm on
I think you'll
SoundCloud,
get it.
and I'm not a SoundCloud Pro subscriber, but I am very, very happy they're doing this, because yet again, this is another way for artists who don't have a medium to put their music out to the masses. As we know, the music industry is changing. SoundCloud just announced through a press release that their Pro subscribers will be hosting a new beta program called SoundCloud Premiere, and they're going to let their Pro users distribute to other streaming platform services. And the artists can keep 100% of the rights, keep 100% of the distribution royalties from third-party services, and pay no distribution fees. That entices me as an artist.
Definitely.
So
you have to be a Pro member?
You have to be a SoundCloud Pro subscriber, and that's like $7 a month. It's a small.
That's worth it because you keep the proceeds, right?
Absolutely, yeah. So they're saying this is quote unquote, keep 100% of the rights, keep 100% of the distribution royalties from third-party services, and pay no distribution fees.
The game.
And now SoundCloud has so much content.
Yeah.
Just tons of content, because granted, I use SoundCloud as a form of experimenting. I'll upload SoundCloud files and create private links to share music with people that I know that it's private. Nobody can hear it. It's not public. It's not going to be on YouTube. It's not, I don't have to worry about an MP3 file, running away or an album leaking or anything like that. I can share that with specific target audiences, and I love that they've taken this this platform a little bit further. So, shout out to SoundCloud. Yeah. And last but certainly not least, I know everybody's talking about this. I'm going to say one thing.
Okay, go ahead.
Jussie Smollett. I'm going to stop. I want anybody listening to this podcast, please don't tell me anymore that he looks like me or I look like him.
No, that's bad.
I get that a lot.
It's bad now.
Really?
And so what do we know that happened? We talked about this a couple weeks ago that
yes.
he had there were reports saying that he had been assaulted in Chicago. He had gone out 2:00 at night and to grab something to eat, and he was assaulted by two guys that were wearing MAGA hats, and the story has completely changed after a full investigation. What do we find out?
Well, the Empire, Jussie Smollett Empire Road has been slashed in the wake of his attack of his scandal, and TMZ have said that it's alleged that it all could have been planned, and Jussie has recently denied, and he still feel like he's being victimized now from the slander.
Because there are new memes every minute.
You know what? Let me back up. So people who don't know, when I first heard the story, I did kind of thought it was weird because it was too much of a like first they said that they was, screaming racial slurs. And then they also saying, hey, this is MAGA country. And then they also was, making fun of him about his sexual orientation, well, his lifestyle.
And then the rope around the neck.
The rope around the neck. Yeah. So it was kind of like racial. It was, homophobic. And I was like, why would someone attack his, like, all three things about him? Like, why would they attack his homosexuality, his race, and then, and then it just was too much. So I couldn't really fathom, like, what was the point of it, you know what I'm saying? And then they, and then come to find out, to TMZ source, they were saying that it was possible that he was going to be getting written out of Empire. And now he totally is out. And then, they say that he paid 2 Nigerian brothers. So TMZ also had reported that investigators had interviewed these brothers, and they found them. They don't say how they found them, but they, after they found them, they interviewed them, and they told them to hold, like, they didn't hold back anything. They said, hey, we rehearsed, we was paid to do this. He planned everything, and we just, did it, and then we left the country. And I said, wow.
But
Yes.
Why did they come back? And so this is where I have, you got paid. You done got your check.
Right.
You in Nigeria. Ain't nobody coming to Nigeria for you.
Well, they was questioning people, and some, they was like questioning because they found footage of 2 people.
Yeah, but you in Nigeria. Why you coming back?
Oh, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. You come back to get caught?
Yeah.
So to me, I feel like someone is setting Jussie up. I feel like he's being set up to look crazy. And because why would they come back?
Yeah.
Why would they
this
come
story
back?
is ridiculous because somebody commented and said, anytime somebody does a 2:00 run in Chicago, they're not going to get some food. So
have you seen pictures of
what was found in the boy's apartment though? The 2 that were arrested, wasn't there stuff found?
Yeah. Hold on.
Did they find the rope or receipts that they bought?
They found some
the receipts.
there's some Empire scripts and
they found.
Okay.
I'm sorry. That is hilarious.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
now you know what? Now that I think about it, I'm sorry. Everybody who's listening, MJ had just said, she just said that she just think that he's being set up, and now that I'm having an epiphany, if they found all that stuff in these people, these men house, I'm just thinking now, like, yeah, he's probably being set up.
This is a SUV. What is it?
yeah.
SVU.
SVU.
Law and Order SVU
This
episode.
is a Law and Order episode. Somebody been watching too much damn TV. Excuse me, darn TV.
Yeah.
Somebody's been watching too much Law and Order.
Wow.
This is a Law and Order episode. I'm telling you. Wow. And then next year, you're going to hear that dun dun dun, whatever that Law and Order intro. It's going to be on there.
But it's so sad though. He did a show right after the attack, and I was kind of wondering how he was able to do the show. And then, he was kind of crying with his fans. He did a show in LA, and this is like maybe a week after we
This is when he called himself the gay Tupac?
Yeah, when he said that,
I said, you know what? It's over for him.
I said, why is he the gay Tupac? What? Tupac dead.
Like, he doesn't remind me nothing. I didn't even know he had. I didn't know that he had a music career. Like, I knew he sang and made appearances, but I didn't know that for you to be the gay Tupac, you got to have albums.
Can you guys describe to people listening what's going on with my face right
now? Facial sarcasm.
Yes.
To the second power, like
right.
Gay Tupac.
Jesus.
I mean, I don't know. I didn't know that he had music like that. So I'm trying to figure out what is he performing. Like, I don't even, like, does he have a single out? I mean, does he have albums or?
Is he like an independent artist?
He's an independent artist that had the success of a lot of the music that was created during the Empire.
Right, and I knew
thing.
that.
Yeah.
But I knew that he was doing shows off just that. But to be called Gay Tupac, you got to have like an album that gay people are singing and dancing to and like reliving moments of your songs. You know what I'm saying? Like
I don't even know.
I don't see the comparison.
I just Jussie, I'm gonna say this, my friend. I like you, man. I think you're a pretty cool cat. I think you represented the gay, the LGBTQIA community, and you've empowered a lot of us.
Yes.
However, if all these reports are true and you really did set yourself up, why? I just want to know why.
Jesse, I think you being set up.
Why?
Brother.
Okay.
I think you being set up.
And if he is, I hope that's the case. But it's unfortunate that he is, right? If he's being set up, I hope that he is being set up.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But it's unfortunate that he's going through this.
Yeah.
Boy.
Because if he's not, this is some tomfoolery.
But and so to me, okay, let's do the flip of what you're saying. Like,
Okay.
if it is, let's say, if somebody were to do this, and somebody of his status, let's not say Jesse, but somebody of his stature were to do something like this, was to plan and plot something so dramatic, that's to me mental illness.
Absolutely.
Because if you don't have any reason to do so, you're popular, you're touring, you're traveling, you're on a really great show, and then for you to say, I ain't getting enough attention, so I'm gonna do this.
Well, he's about to lose his job. Well, he lost it now, but they said that he was about to get written out, so he wanted some attention.
He got a lot of attention, all right.
He got that attention.
He got it. He's still getting it. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and just take a deep breath for Jesse. All right, that's our show this week. Blue, can you take us out? Oh, yes.
If you like what you heard today, please follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Taste Test Radio. We also have a website, www.tastetest.live, where you can find all of our old episodes and hear past guest interviews. Taste Test Live is a fully syndicated podcast and is on all podcast services such as Apple, Google, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, CastBox, or wherever you listen to your podcast.
We're out there. We're out there, and we're actively, because of popular demand, people have asked us to put our podcast episodes on SoundCloud. So that's coming soon. That's our show.
I'm so glad MJ's here.
Yeah.
Thank you
Me
guys
too.
for having me.
So I'm so happy to have you here.
Yes.
MJbaker.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm happy to be here.
So until next week, guys,
That's next week.
keep it tasty. Taste Test Live is supported by listeners like you. If you enjoy the show and want to make sure I can keep making it at this rate, then head over to tastetest.live and click the button that says Patreon. There you can learn how you can help and get some perks for your support. If you're unable to support Taste Test Live financially, then share the show. Tell your friends about it and subscribe to our podcast on your favorite podcast service. I really enjoy sharing this podcast with you and producing it every week. Thank you so much for listening.